PocaSPEAKS. This shit is not easy, but it's worth it. PocaSPEAKS. This shit is not easy, but it's worth it. It's all about community. Spirituality is important. PocaSPEAKS. This shit is not easy, but it's worth it. PocaSPEAKS. This shit is not easy.
Oops. All right, there we go. Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to another podcast episode. We about to go ahead and get into this topic. Let me first start off by saying, if you're watching from YouTube, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing, subscribing, turning on your notifications so you know when the girl goes live and all of that good stuff. If you're watching for Facebook, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing, commenting, all of that good stuff as well. Memberships are available on YouTube for those who are interested. So if you are interested, definitely go check that out. Tomorrow we'll be getting into our Fortune Friday messages. I do extended videos for members. So if you want to see the extended videos for any readings, or if you want to have access to the members only videos, then definitely go check that out. Okay. Real quick, of course, on the 21st, I am doing a birth chart and zodiology seminar, teaching you guys how to properly read your birth chart, how to understand all 12 zodiacs so you see how they affect you in your personal life, in your personal chart. This will also teach you how to manifest, how to go about your day, how to kind of get a better understanding of how you are, what makes you you, and also how you can navigate your days to get better outcomes using your birth chart. Okay, so for those who are interested, it is only $35. It does include a free birth chart, so don't worry if you don't have it already. I will be supplying those for those who need it, as well as $5 off of any free any healing or reading services. Okay, so hey Aileen, shout out to one of my members tuning in. Again, memberships are available, so definitely go check that out. Okay, so let's get into this topic. Now, this is something that I've kind of vaguely touched on. If you've been watching me for a while, you've been tuned into my content for a little minute, then we didn't talked about this a whole lot. Okay, this is one of my favorite topics. This is one of my favorite quote unquote conspiracies, because y'all know every time they say something is a conspiracy, it really means that it's probably true. Okay, they came up with the whole conspiracy word purposely to throw people off from the truth. Okay, so anytime you hear conspiracy, don't think of it as a bad thing, don't think of it as a negative thing. Understand that word was created when people started to wake the fuck up to what was going on, and they wanted to basically figure out a way to discredit those people and the things that they were coming into understanding of. Okay, but one of the biggest things, for us melanated people, I'm gonna say specifically Black Americans, African American, Black people, whatever you want to go by, okay, those who were born and raised here, all right, one of the main things that we kind of struggle with is identity, right? And that's because, based on his story, all right, they had basically, told us that we came from this place and we was taken from our true roots and thrown over here and didn't know who we was and didn't have no culture and just was, raised by the Caucasians pretty much, and we got it good because we didn't have to struggle with the other Black people. We came over here and eventually America was here and we get to reap the benefits of America, and we're lazy and we're this and we're that, right? So many different things that we hear as African Americans as Black people living here. And it's confusing, right? Because then you have your family members telling you, yeah, girl, we got Cherokee in the family, or we Blackfoot, or we this, or we that, and they're naming these tribes to you, and they're saying, oh, your great grandmother was this, or your grandmother was that, or this person in your family was this. Okay, there we go. This person in your family was Native American, and this person in your family was Indian, and blah, 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 blah. So we are left fucking confused because we're like, okay, well, what is it? Are we from Africa, but we over here, and, you know, we went through slavery? Or are we from here, and, you know, these people just lying, right? So it's a lot that's kind of jumbled around. And when, you know, a lot of us are waking up and coming back into spirituality and things of that nature, and we don't really know what to pursue as far as spirituality. We don't know we need to be looking into hoodoo or voodoo or Santeria or Ifa or you know, any of those different things. We don't really know where to go, what to do, because of all of the confusion about where we came from and who we are as a people. So what I'm about to get into is based on my research. I really want to be specifically clear about that. It is based on my research, also being accompanied by the things that I have found out in regards to my own bloodline. Okay, so it's going to be a mixture of both. I will specify what I'm talking about, where you can find it, the information you can start looking into, all of that. We're going to get into as much as we can. Okay. So the story that most of us hear is, you know, we were in Africa, you know, our ancestors was in Africa and the boat pulled up and they threw us all on the boat, okay, by the hundreds of thousands, and charted our ass all the way from Africa to America, okay? And when we got here, we were sold to the highest bidder, and we were used to, you know, repopulate and also to work and to basically be slaves to the Caucasians. Okay, that's the story that we get. All right, we didn't, you know who we was. We, you know, all of this stuff. We didn't have any identity. We didn't have any culture. We just was picked up, thrown on a boat, and brought over here, and we were slaves. That's not what really happened. Okay, and again, this is going based on my research. Some of you guys may be able to resonate with it because you've been doing your own research. But regardless of the fact, please go do your research, not only just into quote unquote history, but also into your own personal bloodlines. Okay, do your own ancestry work, because the more you start to do it for your own family, it really doesn't matter what they're saying for the collective. Who gives a fuck? Okay, just like, for example, you know, it's been Caucasians over here since, you know, at least the last 200 to 300 years. Okay, so we know that to be a fact. However, there's certain Caucasians that come over here and be like, I'm Italian. I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about the history of this country is. I'm Italian. My people from Italy. Okay, and that's just what it is, and that's what they claim. So we have to first get into a position where we are okay with claiming stuff that other people around us may not know to claim, may not have the information to claim, never did the research to claim, or just may not be that very thing that we claim. We have to be okay with that. One thing that has been really fucking us up is we're trying to keep everything so collective. So as long as the whole collective believes that we're from Africa, then we all supposed to be walking around here pretending like we from Africa and we know that that's where we from. No. Okay? If I don't personally believe that shit, I don't personally believe that shit. You can't force me, make me, you know, condemn me into believing that my bloodline or my ancestry comes from a place that I'm looking at the facts and it's not saying that it comes from there. Okay? For those asking me about TikTok, my TikTok is currently banned. Okay? I don't know when I'm gonna be back on TikTok live. But right now, this is what I'm doing. Okay? So yeah, okay. So based on the research that I have done, right? And you can look into things like mud floods, you can look into things like Tameri, Tameri, Okay, you can also look up Tamerica, Tamerica. Okay, start your research with that. Start looking into those things, because this is going to show you, number one, that there were people here already. That's very important, because the way that they have been telling the story is it's kind of twofold. At one point they'll say, you know, the only people that was here was the Indians and blah 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 blah, and then they'll celebrate a whole Caucasian man talking about he discovered some shit. How the fuck did he discover something if we're saying that there were already people here? You can't discover something when there's already people there. That's not a discovery. Okay? That doesn't make no fucking sense. So we still to this day is celebrating what we know is a fucking lie. Everybody in this world up to this point, at least, or everybody in America up to this point, at least, knows Christopher Columbus didn't discover a motherfucking thing. Okay? Let's get into Christopher Columbus real quick. First of all, Christopher Columbus was not trying to come to America, okay, or what was known as Tamari, all right, or Tamerica. You can look all those things up, all right. He was not trying to come here. He was trying to go to India. That's the T. He was not trying to come here. He stumbled upon this motherfucking land, and it was not on purpose. This nigga stumbled across America by fucking accident. He was trying to take his ass to India. Hence why they called the black people here Indians, because this motherfucker thought he was in India. He was not in India. He had no way of knowing where the fuck he was. He did not know where he was. He had no sense of direction. Okay, because he went to the wrong motherfucking continent. He was supposed to be over there in India, and he sailed his ass over here by accident. So when he got off the boat, he called the people that he seen here Indians. Okay, now if you go and you read his memoirs, because there's certain letters and stuff that he wrote. Okay, if you go and you read it, the way that he described the people that were here don't sound like the quote unquote Native Americans that we have come to think are Native Americans. Okay, he described them as having dark skin, dark, okay, almost blue. Have you ever seen a quote unquote Native American, based on how they try to say Native Americans are, that look damn near blue? No, I don't think that you have. Most of these fake ass Native Americans are red. Okay, that's where they got the name red skin from, because they looked red. They had a red hue. Okay, so this don't have nothing to do with the people that this motherfucker seen. He's seen dark chocolate motherfuckers walking around. That ain't the Native Americans that they've been trying to tell us the Native Americans. Okay, so go back and look at Christopher Columbus' memoirs, his letters, the different things that he wrote while he was here in the moments of his discovery, to get a better understanding of exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all know I give y'all just enough so you can go do the research, but I'm not going to give you all of it, because I actually want you to do the research. Okay, so anyways, Christopher Columbus gets here. Let me put my phone on silent. I just seen a notification pop up and I don't want nobody to call me. Christopher Columbus gets here, okay? He thinks that he's in fucking India. So he names the black people Indians, all right? Now, the whole purpose of him even going on his exploration, or one of the purposes of him going on his exploration, was number one, to look for land. And also, slavery was already happening before these motherfuckers got here. That's what y'all need to understand. So slavery was already going on. And a lot of people will say, okay, well, black people, y'all had slaves too. At one point, we didn't necessarily have slaves, but we had people who would work off their debt. Okay, so if, let's say, me and your tribe go against each other and I win, I can take your people as temporary workers and they will basically just work off the debt. Okay, or if you pass through my city and you steal or something, or you do something, then I can make you work off your debt. Okay, that was the type of quote unquote slavery that we as black people did with each other. We wasn't out here just taking each other, captive and killing each other and making each other work and shit like that. Okay, that's not the type of shit we was on. All right, black people have never been barbaric people. Never. We have always been people that operated out of love and principle. Okay? Period. We knew that there were laws, we knew that there were principles, we knew that there were values and morals and standards. And we operated, as such. Now, sometimes that wasn't a pretty sight, and sometimes it was very fair. Okay? Do your research on that as well. On the African kingdoms and the black kingdoms, who took each other as workers and made you work off your load or work off your debt. Okay? That's another thing that you can go research. But anywho, slavery, the Caucasian version, was already going on. Before they brought their boat to the U.S., they was already taking slaves. Okay? They already had shit going on over there in Europe. They already was bringing people over there to try to work. And they will actually, before they started to even try to get black people, they were already enslaving each other. But they realized that they cannot stand in that motherfucking sun. They cannot work long hours. They cannot get the job done. So when they took their asses over there to Africa, they seen these black people out there working in that motherfucking sun all day, being able to take the heat, okay? Being able to double, triple, quadruple the workload effortlessly, all right? And that's where they got the sick ass idea to start stealing people. Okay? Because they was already stealing each other, but they couldn't get the work done as efficiently as a black person because they couldn't withstand that motherfucking sun. Okay? So the Africans, already in Africa, they were already taking some of them to Europe. They were already transporting their ass to other places before people even came here. All right? So, by the time they get here, and Christopher Columbus stumbles across this motherfucker, he stumbled across all these niggas. He pull up on this motherfucking random ass, continent that he thinks for at first is India. He realizes eventually he's not in motherfucking India, but he see all of these black people here. Okay? Now, though, this is when you get into the specifics of how they, purposely shifted the facts to make it seem like we wasn't shit. Okay? They make it seem like the Native Americans was all living in teepees and they was all just in the forest around a fire and they had stick huts and everything was just very mediocre, and we was just rolling around and with feathers on our head and teepees, and that's all we had. We was sleeping on the floor and killing shit so we could have chinchilla blankets, and that's it. Okay, they try to really make it seem like the Native Americans were very, low budget, don't know what they doing for real, not as evolved, not as elevated, okay? And this has been the story that the Caucasians have been trying to put on us forever, okay? Forever. Even when they went to Africa and they was taking people, they tried to make it seem like those people didn't have anything established. This is the kicker. This is why I said go look into Mudfloods, go look into Tamarica, go look into Turtle Island, go look into all of those things all of those names that I'm dropping right now, because this is going to give you context. Before these motherfuckers got here, we had kingdoms. And I don't mean kingdoms in the sense that you think, when you watch Thor, okay, it's not Asgard. That's not what the fuck I'm talking about. But we had cities. Most of the cities that you know today, we named those cities. Okay, that's why there's a difference between, let's say, the city of Philadelphia and then Philadelphia City. Okay, it's like the way that you word it. It's two different things. I can't remember the exact verbiage, but it's like the city of and then blank blank city. It's like the way that you say it means literally two different things. One was named by us, the original people that were here, and then the other was renamed by the fake ass government when they came and they took over and they started to strong arm shit with their private organization called the United States of America. Okay, United States of America, allegedly, I gotta only say that because this is streaming on YouTube, is a private organization. It is basically like a private company. It's no different than CVS and Walmart. Okay, it is a private owned business. So there may be similarities in the ways that we say things, and because it's so similar, we don't think that it's different. But when you look into legalese, I've been telling you about legalese for a while. Legalese is basically the verbiage that you use when you are dealing with their fake ass corporation. You have to say things in a specific way, because if you don't say it in that specific way, it will be taken in another way and you will lose your rights. Okay? So they made things so specific and so difficult and so close together that you don't notice, to continuously distract you from the fact that you've lost, that you're giving away your rights to a private organization that is illegal in the first place. Okay, so this all ties into when we're talking about your straw man. This all ties into your nationality. This all ties into if you're a sovereign citizen, the Morse code, all of that. All of this goes together. Okay, it all flows together. This is why you got to do the research. I'll tell y'all in the beginning, everything is connected. You just have to figure out where the connections are. That's it. It's all connected. You just have to put the fucking puzzle together. And it takes time. And you got to sit down and you got to play around with it. And you got to figure it out. Okay? But eventually, the dots will connect. And it will show you exactly, you know, how we got to the place that we are now. Okay? So anyway, they came over here. They peeped us. They seen what we was doing. And because we have always been a people of love, we've always been a people of compassion, we've always been a knowledgeable people, we've always been a very high vibrational people. When they came over here, we wanted to teach them. They wanted to learn about our land, how we farmed, how we cropped, how we, you know, did this and did that, how we made this happen, made that happen. Not only that, but we also had the Moors. Okay, there was a specific group of Moors who literally was going around the world educating Caucasians. Okay, this specific group of Moors is the people that we do not fuck with. When we say all skin folk and kinfolk, this is who the fuck we're talking about. These motherfuckers was going from Africa to Europe to Asia to America to South America, and they were teaching Caucasians our ways. This is why the United States of America Corporation has a private treaty and contract with the Moors. Okay? You got to go look into it. Go do your research. If you go look up the treaty or the contract that we have with the Moors, this is why Moors are excused from law. They are excused from the government bullshit. They are not taxed. They don't have to have no driver's license. They don't have to have a social security or no ID or none of that. They don't gotta explain themselves. The police can't touch them. The court system can't touch them. When you go under Moorish code and you basically identify yourself as a Moor, you go under this protection. Okay, where you are not affected by the things quote unquote citizens are affected by. All right, and it's a reason for that, because these motherfuckers was doing business deals back in the beginning. That specific group of Moors was doing deals with America from the jump. We got sold out by our own people. Y'all gotta understand this. All right. Now, to a certain extent, can it benefit you at this point in your life if you want to go and be a Moor? I mean, it will kind of benefit you because you won't have to go through, you won't have to deal with the private corporation of the United States anymore. But how we got to that point, we kind of got sold out in order to get there. Okay. So the Moors went around, started teaching people and teaching specifically Caucasians about our ways, the different things that we had going on, our magic. Okay. They don't talk about this. This is why, again, everything's connected. This is why they turned everything that we was as Black people, because we had our own shit going on over here. The quote unquote Native Americans are the Black people. Okay, the Black African Americans that you know to be at this point, that's who the Native Americans are. We are their descendants. This is why we look completely different from those who are born in Africa. This is why we act completely different. This is why we have a different demeanor. We have a different bio type, I guess you would call it. We are completely different than any other melanated species on the planet because we come from here. We were born here, raised here. This has been our environment for a very, very long time. If you look into mud floods, you will see just how long we've been here. Okay? Most of your government buildings are our original buildings. It's our original buildings. It's the shit that your ancestors put their hands together and made. So, for example, I live in DC. The Capitol building, some of the museums, we have a lot of just very old government type, style buildings here in the DC area. If you look at most of these buildings from the outside, sometimes you can see windows that are half out and then half in the ground, which shows that at one point where the ground is was a lot lower because there's a window there. Okay? How the fuck you get a window that's half in the ground and half out the ground if you just made this building a couple hundred years ago? That don't make sense. Okay? If the window was half in and half out, that obviously means that there was a full building here already, and that the level of the ground was either raised to cover that shit the fuck up, which is why they call it a mud flood. Because basically what they did was they mixed dirt and water and they flooded the areas. Sometimes they just knew that it was, we were already on like a dirt type. We had a dirt type plain, so they just flooded the area, which created mud. And then they were able to manipulate it and cover shit up and hide things, which is what they did. Okay, so I'm gonna show y'all a quick picture of what I'm talking about, just so when you go look and you do your research, you can kind of know what to look for. Okay, let's see. Oops. Images. All right, hopefully y'all can see this. Okay. So if you look at this building, okay, like I said, most of our buildings we think they started up here because this is where the land is. But really underneath, you see that ancient building? Okay, you see how all of these, windows are right here, these openings, and this is a couple, 100 feet under the ground. Okay, that's one example. Let me see if I can find another one quickly to show y'all. Okay, this is perfect. All right, this is a more close up of what I'm talking about. Okay, so they changed the level of the ground. So they put cement and stuff here, and they created a new door, new opening, and all of that. But there's a door right here. There's windows down here. This was once at one point under the ground. Okay, and as they moved all of this ground and all this dirt and gravel and stuff out the way, they were able to uncover the lower half of these buildings. Okay, now these buildings are old as fuck. These are not no new buildings that was just built 50 years ago, 100 years ago. These buildings are old. They are very, very old. Like I showed you on the first picture, you can see how ancient it was because of the way that they even designed it. That's not a normal design to have those, big oval like, posts and stuff like that. That's an old type of thing. That's not modern at all. Okay, and a lot of our buildings are like this. If you look and you do some research, you can see that there's been a lot of sinkholes here in America. And when these sinkholes happen, they create these tunnels, and these people are going into these motherfucking tunnels, and they're finding buildings, they're finding cars, they're finding train tracks, they're finding all type of stuff that has been sitting under this motherfucking ground for all of these years. And because it's basically hollow under the ground, after enough pressure, after enough rain, after enough snow, after enough driving, the ground gets weak and it falls the fuck through. And when it falls through, it's basically a whole new motherfucking world up under there because they didn't cover that shit the fuck up. So you gotta ask yourself, if the Indians, if the Native Americans that were already here were these TP type of people, they was living in these TPs and in these shacks, and they were very just low budget-esque, Okay? How the fuck we get buildings like that? Who made those? It wasn't the Caucasian people that made that shit. It was not them. They don't know how to create anything. They just build over shit or redo something or take it and say that they did it. Okay? Who made those buildings? Who created those buildings? Who put those structures there? If the Native Americans were just these people who were just, all they knew how to do was grow some food and have Thanksgiving. That don't make no fucking sense. Okay, these are the type of questions you gotta ask. And the only way you can ask these type of questions is to do the research. This is why I tell y'all, spirituality is not just crystals and chakras and meditation and manifestation and money and ancestors and all of that. It's also history. You have to go and do the fucking research so you know who you are and who your people are. One of the biggest reasons why us as Black Americans specifically get so much hate, not only from the people outside of ourselves, but also from each other, is because we have been trained and conditioned to think of ourselves as being worthless or being low value or being orphans. When really that's not who we are. We was over here creating, okay? Now another thing, outside of the mud flood buildings and things of that nature, we have over 200,000 pyramids here in North America. 200,000. And I have to say North America because that includes Mexico, that includes Canada. All right? 200,000 pyramids here. Now, who the fuck built that shit? Who did that? Who did that? Because the Caucasians been trying to rebuild the pyramids that they seen in Africa and they can't even do that. So we know that they didn't build shit. We know they ain't built a fuck ass thing. The whole point of them getting slaves was for them to not have to do shit. So we know that they ain't built no motherfucking pyramids. They still can't figure that shit out to this day, how we built pyramids. They cannot figure that shit out. They do not know. They've been trying to, manipulate technology and do small scale figures and all type of shit to try to figure it out. They do not know how the fuck we built that shit at that time, not having the quote unquote technology that we have now. So who built all of the 200,000 plus pyramids that are here in North America between what we call America or what we call USA, Mexico, and Canada? Who built the motherfucking pyramids? That's what the fuck we need to know. Those are the type of questions we need to be asking, because we know white people ain't built no motherfucking pyramids. Now, a lot of people don't even know that there are pyramids here in North America because we have been conditioned to think that everything, all life, all ancient stuff started in Africa. That's false. The oldest pyramid is here in North America. The pyramid that predates the oldest one in Africa is here. Here. It's not over there in Africa. It's not nowhere else in the world. The oldest pyramid to date is here in North America. Who the fuck built that? If we came from Africa on a boat and we only had a couple years to go through slavery, okay, and then we was freed, then how did we have time to build all these buildings and pyramids in that short amount of time? How the fuck did that happen? And nobody can recreate it, and there ain't no pictures of them building it. Make it make sense, because it don't. All right, now let's go even further. The Grand Canyon. If you go visit the Grand Canyon yourself, or if you look at photos and pictures of certain parts of the Grand Canyon, there are pyramids and ancient artifacts in the Grand Canyon. Now, the Grand Canyon has been rumored to connect America to Africa. Okay? The Grand Canyon has been rumored to it has been rumored to connect us because Africa is closer than we think. Okay? It has also been rumored that the real Africa has always been here in what they have called now America. All right? All of the places that you heard about, whether it was from the Bible, whether it was from ancient Kemetic studies or whatever, there are cities, states, places, and locations here in North America that line up with those very things. Period. Okay? Period. Period. All right? So, there's a reason why they won't let your ass walk through that motherfucking Grand Canyon. And it's not because a rock could possibly fall on you and you can die. It has nothing to do with your fucking safety. It has everything to do with the safety of the bullshit that they want us to motherfucking believe. That's what the fuck the main thing is. They've been wanting us to believe that certain things are what they told us that it is. Why? So that they can continue to have access to our shit. As long as we as melanated people, as black people, quote unquote African Americans, think that we are from Africa, we will never fight to have our land back. This is our land. These motherfuckers moved from Europe over here. They are the only groups of people where there is photographic evidence of them getting on boats and being shipped to America. Okay, I'm gonna show you the proof. There is no photographic evidence of black people being on boats. If you go and you look throughout what we learned about slavery and all of that, everything is a picture. Somebody's, drew the picture, wrote the picture, whatever. It's a created image. There is no real pictures of us being on no boats. There's no, real pictures of us getting on or getting off of no motherfucking boats. Okay? Let me show y'all this picture here. So y'all can see I'm not bullshit. All right? There's no photographic evidence of us ever being on anybody's boat. Okay? They have whole dinosaurs in the motherfucking museums, but you ask for a slave ship and it seems like it's too much. Okay? Let me go to here. So you can type in white people coming to America on a boat on Google and it will pull up all of these pictures of these motherfucking Caucasians. These are the only people that was lined up on boats to get over this bitch. It was never us because we were already here. Okay? There was no need for us to get on a motherfucking boat to come here. So they gave us their fucking story. They switched the fucking facts. They switched the facts so that they can manipulate how we move forward. Again, as long as they convinced us that we was the ones on the boat, then we would be the ones trying to get back on that boat to leave. But if they told us the truth about how they was the ones on the motherfucking boat, they know that they would have to get the fuck. Because this is our land and we are entitled to it. All right? Just type it into Google, white people on the boat coming to America. Okay? It will pop up for you. But we ain't never got on nobody's motherfucking boat to come over this bitch. Not the people that was already here. Now, did they take some slaves and some people from other places and drop them at different places? Absolutely. That definitely happened. But not on the scale that they try to make you think. All right? Number one, how the fuck could thousands of black people survive on a boat for 6 to 7 to 8 months of travel with no food, no water, and no way of defecating, properly or using the bathroom properly? Number two, when Christopher Columbus and his people got off the motherfucking boat and they met up with the Native Americans, they damn near killed most of them from the fuck-ass diseases that they brought over here. So you telling me that we was on a boat by the thousands with these motherfuckers who have a completely different immune system than us, who come from a completely different area, so their immune system is going to be different than ours. And we had all these sicknesses, and we survived. You brought 3.5 million people over here over that time, and you're trying to convince me that we survived on a boat for 7 to 8 to 10 months with no food, no water, no health care, no doctor, no herb in sight? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And you think that these same motherfuckers who didn't even know what continent they was on to begin with, because this motherfucker ended up on the wrong continent by accident. These same people who accidentally came over here to begin with are the same people who now have 100% understanding of how to get from Africa to America flawlessly multiple times. And then when we take into account how many motherfucking slave ships it was, there's probably only, off the top of my head, I want to say 5 to 7. Let me see. About 5 to 7 that we learned about that were the big ones. Okay, that were the important ones that we learned about. The Nina, the Santa Maria, all of that shit, right? But then they said that there were over 12,000 ships making over 40,000 voyages over 250 years. Bitch, do you think we was born at the bottom of the sea and we just fucking stupid? You mean to tell me y'all made 40,000 trips back and forth from America to Africa to wherever else in the world to bring motherfuckers over here, and the majority of those people survived, and y'all did this shit over the span of 250 years? Are you fucking kidding me? Was we born in the tornado? What the fuck is going on? None of that shit makes no fucking sense. And then you ask, okay, where is the slave ships? Show me the museums with the actual slave ships, the pieces. If you can put together a whole dinosaur body, okay? Let's ask some good questions here. Y'all be asking the good questions, and I don't like that for y'all. I don't like that for us, because we need to ask more fucking questions. You mean to tell me y'all can find a dinosaur skull? Okay, y'all can find a dinosaur's whole bone structure from pinky toe to nose bone and assemble that motherfucker in a goddamn museum and charge people $20, $30 to come see that raggedy piece of shit that we don't even know is facts or not. Because how can we confirm that there was motherfucking big ass dinosaurs walking around this bitch? We don't motherfucking know. We just going off of what the fuck they told us. So we don't even know if that's a real T-Rex in that motherfucking museum, or if that's some shit y'all just threw the fuck together. Either way, where's the fucking slave ships? The dinosaurs predate slavery for millions of years. So you should be at least able to show me a couple slave ships in this full glory. At this point, we should have a slave ship tour. If motherfuckers is going down there and fucking whatchamathangies, ibuprofen 800s to go look at the motherfucking Titanic, we need to be doing some, where's the ships? I don't want to hear that they was all destroyed. Make that make some fucking sense. Why would y'all destroy y'all evidence of y'all greatest, achievement in history? That don't make no sense. These are the same motherfuckers that got Confederate flag statues and people still up. So obviously they are proud of their racism. So why y'all not proud enough to show us the ships that y'all brought us over here on? Make it make sense. When the last time you seen a slave ship? Exactly. When the last time you seen a dinosaur bone? These motherfuckers, I even a couple months ago heard that they motherfucking found a piece of cloth with Jesus' blood on it. I just want that to sizzle in y'all spirit. Just take a minute to think about what the fuck I just said. You think I'm lying? Go look that shit up. These motherfuckers said they found a cloth with Jesus' blood on it. Now, how the fuck you know that that's Jesus' blood if you ain't never got a blood specimen from this motherfucker to compare it to? I don't think they know how blood works. I don't think they know how DNA works. And these are the motherfuckers that's supposed to be the doctors. How can you confirm that this is the blood of Jesus if you don't have a DNA sample of his blood to compare it to. Jesus' blood is not in a professional database. According to the damn book, his body is not even here. According to the motherfucking book, he rose and ain't leave no motherfucking trace behind of shit. So how's you gonna tell me you found a piece of cloth with Jesus' blood on it in the 21st century, and we still have no slave ship in sight? We have no actual digital photos at this point of any black people on anybody's fucking boat. But we got endless photos of Caucasian people on boats coming to America. No pun intended. But not one actual for real photo of us on anybody's boat. Somebody's fucking lying. And then when you compare that, like I said in the beginning, with your actual ancestry, when you go down the bloodline of your ancestors, and you see great grandma say we was Cherokee, where the fuck you think she got that from? You think she just made that shit up? You think she just woke up one day and said, I'm just gonna start telling my family that we really is Cherokee for real? No, grandma fucking know better than you. For example, we have all met people who may be from, let's say, the Caribbean, right? From the Caribbean, okay? And they may be born here. Let's say they first generation Americans, black Americans. They're born here, but their great grandmother was born in Jamaica. Okay? What are they gonna tell you when you ask them where they from and who and what's their nationality? They're gonna say Jamaican. They're not gonna say I'm American just because I was born here and that's what it say. No, they're gonna say they're Jamaican. Why? Because their ancestry is Jamaican. Grandma is Jamaican. Grandpa is Jamaican, which makes my mama or my daddy Jamaican, which makes me fucking Jamaican. If both of my parents is Jamaican and both of their parents is Jamaican, what the fuck am I? Make it make sense. If my grandmama's from Italy and my grandfather was from Italy and my mama from Italy and my daddy from Italy, what the fuck that make me? Italian. Right? Only us black people shifted. Our grandmamas is Native American, our grandfathers is Native American. They had our parents, which would make them what? Descendants of who? Native Americans, which makes them Native Americans. Then our parents had us, which makes us what? Descendants of them, which would make us also Native Americans. Make it make sense. People who were born here and their family is actually from Africa, meaning they were living in Africa first, and born and raised, and then they moved here. When their grandparents moved here or their parents moved here, they still claim African. It don't all of a sudden become American just because they personally were born and raised here. It's all about your ancestry. Wherever your people from, that's who you is and that's where you from. That's how that shit been going. So how can my great grandparents be Native American, my grandparents be Native American, my parents be Native American, and then I'm American? Or then I'm African? That make no fucking sense. Okay? So you first have to be okay with doing a deep dive into your own ancestry and seeing what that says, and then standing 10 toes on that. Because if every black person went and did their motherfucking ancestry, I promise you, you will all see that we are all motherfucking Native American. I can't name an ancestor from Africa. And I done went far back in my motherfucking ancestry to like the late 1700s. Almost damn near the early 1700s. And guess what my people was? Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas. That's my people was. That's where it says when you go back and you do the digging. It don't say off the boat, just arrived. It don't fucking say that. And then on top of that, if you go back, you'll see that some of our people wasn't slaves. They weren't even listed as such. They were listed as sharecroppers or listed for whatever job they had. Some of them had land, owned their own land, had their own land, was doing their own shit. My family is one of them. On both sides, my family had land and still have land to this day. That dates back generations and generations and generations. And a lot of our families have land. We may not know about it because we've lost that connection, or we didn't do the research to even figure out how we were connected to that very thing, to even discover it. So go do your research. I'm saying all of this to say, don't be one of those ignorant people who just keep going based off of what the fuck these people told us. Because if we look at their track record, they have a track record of lying to our motherfucking faces. The fact that they still have not, completely did away with Christopher Columbus and Columbus Day shows that they have no problem with keeping their lies going. Because again, like I said, everybody at this point knows that the Indians was already here. So why the fuck do we keep celebrating the motherfucker who claims to have discovered some shit when everybody has the fucking facts? We even read it in the same, at one page in the history book it said Christopher Columbus discovered it, and then the very next page it says he met the Indians. That's a contradiction. You can't discover nothing and then meet the people that's already there. That's not a discovery. And we still celebrating this motherfucker. Well, they still celebrating it because I don't celebrate his ass. They still celebrating him publicly, nationally, for some shit that he didn't even fucking do. That we all know he didn't fucking do. So stop being so quick to believe the very motherfuckers who claim to have enslaved you. Stop being so quick to believe the very motherfuckers whose lies have already been pinpointed and put on Front Street. Okay? Stop being so gullible. This is where we have fallen as a people. We are a people who come from researchers, astrologers, doctors, herbalists, teachers, and everything else that you can fucking think of. Everything that you walk around and you see in America, your ancestors had a part in creating that. And that's how you need to look at yourself. And when you start going in to do the research and you start diving deeper into these things, you will see that it's not a conspiracy. It's actually very much so true. It's actually facts. Okay? A lot of us still have the older generation, sitting around here. Go start asking some questions. Y'all don't be asking enough questions, and y'all gonna sit there and let all them old people go ahead and die, and they gonna die with all of that history and all of that information that's not written in the book, that you can't type up and get online, because this is talking about your personal bloodline. Your personal bloodline. Okay? So hopefully this made y'all think a little bit. I wanted to, I don't like to put my feelings, thoughts, ideologies, theories onto y'all, but I do like to explain why I feel the way I feel, why I think the way I think, and why I've come to the conclusions that I've come to. Hopefully, some of y'all resonate with this, and even if you don't resonate with it, still go do the research. Okay, because a lot of stuff we are unlearning, right? We're in the age of Aquarius. This is the perfect time to ask questions. This is the perfect time to get the information and get the knowledge and to push the motherfucking envelope. If some shit don't sit right with you, it don't sit right with you. Okay, this is not the motherfucking 1600s when you just had a yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. We don't have to do that shit. Go do your motherfucking research so that you can first understand who you are, based on figuring out who your people was, okay? And then it'll help you move forward. It'll help you feel more connected to your personal journey, because we are our ancestors. So you never know what things you can uncover, what, synchronicities may start to happen or show up, or what things may just start to flow together now that you went and started to do the research on this information. All right? So light and love to you all. Again, hopefully y'all got something from this. Again, I am doing a birth chart and zodiology a 3-hour seminar on the 21st of November. I will be giving out free birth charts for those who do not have it. We'll be going through how to understand and read your birth chart, as well as how to understand all 12 of the zodiacs and how they apply to you in your personal chart. Of course, other life coaching and mentoring services are available. Therapy sessions are available. I am doing customized therapy sessions right now. People have been booking that. You have the option to customize it the way that you need it. I know that traditional therapy, doesn't really work for a lot of people. It can be a little weird, and they don't really give you the things that you really need. So I do untraditional therapy. Okay, I do customized therapy. I'm not going according to no board, no state, nothing, none of that. Okay, I didn't get licensed through these people because I don't believe in what the fuck they talking about. All right. But I do spiritual therapy and counseling. So if you do need those services, definitely reach out and let me know. All of my information is going across the bottom of the screen. You can email me or you can shoot me an inbox message. Either way, we'll be back on tomorrow for Fortune Fridays. I will be going through all 12 of the zodiacs tomorrow. I haven't done that in a while, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. So definitely tune in if you want to hear messages for your specific zodiac or your big three. Other than that, light and love to all of you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.
But it's worth it.